Okay, when you start crocheting, I have quite a few tools here, but you don't need all that I have, but eventually you do gather them up. And in my little toolbox here, which I thought was a handy little thing to put them, I do have a case that has my crochet hooks in it. It has both the steel hooks and the metal hooks. Of course, you can get plastic ones too. And I have all the sizes here, and of course I have 2 or 3 of everything. Over the years I've gathered them up, and once in a while somebody will die and then they'll say, "Here, do you want this box of my tools?" And I say, "Oh yes," because once in a while people borrow from me, and guess what? Those things gather up legs, and they walk, and they don't come back. So I keep trying to pick up stuff that I'm missing. And we'll be using some of these in a little bit. A tape measure is always good to have in your little kit. With this tape measure, of course these go into knitting. It's to make cables with. I've got some needles for sewing. And any type of little tape measure will do. These are some awfully large hooks here. They're for making really loose things. I haven't used them yet, as you can see, but if I come across something that's going to need them. For a little beginner kit, you can always pick up some that have most of the sizes in it. This one goes from D to K, and it's D, E, it goes right along with your alphabet, and as it gets larger, the alphabet, then the hook gets larger. Now in the steel hooks, it's the other way around. The steel hooks starts with a double O, and it goes to a number 14, which is very, very small. You can hardly see it. I'll get one out here so you can see. Well, as a matter of fact, this is a 12, but you can see there's hardly a little pick on the end of it. Now a 13, 14 goes down even smaller than that. And they use that mostly for making the fine, fine lace that they put around handkerchiefs and pillowcases and things like that. So I happen to, and I think, well, this is the one. I have one that was my grandmother's, which is very old. Of course, most of these smaller ones, 9, 10, 11, 12, are smaller ones that I had that are either my mother's or my grandmother's. I can't get that one out of there. Now this one here is a 13. And as you can see, it's very, very small. And the 14 was even smaller. That must be in another one of my cases. But you can see that it's, and they use the fine cotton to do the laces on different things. Oh, both pairs of my scissors are out there. Another thing that's useful in your thing is a pair of scissors. And my scissors are out in the other box. Now on this, you can see is a little, it says knit check, but you also can do your crochet hooks. Most of your crochet hooks are marked, but you can take and stick them down through one of those little holes and you'll be able to see what size you have that you're using. And also this little square over here is when you get something and it'll say it wants to be 2 inches by 2 inches, so many stitches. So if you do so many stitches, so many rows, and measure it, you can tell if you're up to date with your gauge. Because gauge is very important in some things, because if you don't make it really right to gauge, it's awfully hard to get it to fit somebody. Now, so I get in there. They did put some of these out a while ago. I got a couple of them for Amanda and I to try out. You've got 4 hooks here on one little thing. So instead of buying a whole case, you've got 4 different hooks that you can use. And I did send away one time and got myself a lighted crochet hook so I could crochet in the dark. In fact, I got 2 of them. They sent me with the wrong one at first, and when I called them, they just told me to keep this one. They sent the right one to me. Of course, I use pens and pencil or whatever. As you're going along, you can mark your rows. I hate to, in a way, mark up my book, so a lot of times I'll copy the pattern. Then the copied pattern you can set and write on and make any changes that you need to change that come along. So it's a good idea to have either a pencil or paper. These are just, you can buy like these sets of steel hooks.